That's all that's to it. Well, how do you know that? Because the Bible says that he will be revealed, and the revelation will have to do with time. 3.5 years, 42 months, 1,290 days, and then his end shall come. That period of time is what we are facing, anticipating, observing the day of the Lord. It will be the beginning of the day of the Lord. The tribulation period, the beginning of the day of the Lord. Woe be unto you who desire a day of the Lord, because you're desiring a day that you're not going to witness. You're going to witness a day and a time of tribulation. And the tribulation will have to do with the coming of Jesus Christ. And because God's people today have given themselves over to the spirit of Antichrist, little children, you know, God's children, that Antichrist must come. He will be revealed in his time. Well, how will he be revealed? By speculation? By calculation? By observation? No! He will be revealed. He'll be revealed by revelation. At this point in time, there are many antichrists. Many who fit the criteria. Many who fit the criteria of the false prophet. Many false prophets will come. Many false Christs will come. And they will deceive many. Why? Because people calculate, observe, but they won't wait for revelation. And the one thing this generation will not do, they will not have the prophet, the messenger, the signs. I mean, people talk about these things, and they never talk about the sign. When I do it, you say, all you do is talk about yourself. Yeah, because I'm the sign. That's why I do it. How do you know that? It's been revealed to me by the Holy Ghost. So emphatic it burns in my spirit. It rides over all my common intellect. It's mind-boggling for me to believe that I am the sign, but it's been given to me. And I keep emphasizing the sign. And then shall appear the sign. It is revealed. And if you do not accept or receive the prophet, then you will not receive the revelation of the prophet, of the sign, and of the time. Whosoever will not hear that prophet shall be cut off from end-time truth, biblical fellowship, worldwide gathering of the saints. It's just that simple. And that explains why so many of you are where you are, or what you are. It's been well over 10, 15 years that by revelation, without any contradiction on the part of theologians, no matter how you went on, I revealed to you. I've been on the Catholic Church for years. The Catholic Church is the whore church of revelation. She is the mother of harlots. That means she is the mother of all the other organized religious systems, including the Muslims, the Buddhists, because she gives credibility to us. I told you by revelation that this last time 7 women, or the 7 major religions of the world, all saying they're worshiping the same God, or the same God with a different name or what, and they will take hold of the one man who speaks for the religious authority of the world. Just the other day, I read how the Pope came out with a new ordinance of proclamation declaring that he is the sovereign. He is the sovereign head. Now, that doesn't mean religious head. Sovereign head over the governments, over the kings, over the power structure. And he rules them. And the Catholic Church has been doing that for years and years. And the Jesuits had been their arm of enforcement. And now they got one of the Jesuits right up in the papistry, and he's going to enforce by proclamation as he rules over the kings of the earth. I told you way back there that the Pope would be the Antichrist. Now, I just read an article here a second ago where they said, well, this Pope Francis, who was very popular, now he's beginning to wane. And he can't depend upon just the strength of the Roman Catholic Church, because it's in disarray. So what's he doing? he's moving now to exercise his sovereignty over the kings of the earth. His word. He's going to come right over here to America, and he's going to speak to the highest organized body of law givers or keepers in the United States Congress. He's coming right there. And then he's going to go to the White House. And then he's going to go to the United Nations. You go to all three of the power structures that's being used by Satan to set up one world government. And so he's going to exercise all the power of the first beast. My God, I don't think you people ever read the book. Always questioning, always denouncing, like a little old lady. Brother Dale, you're such a nice man, but you better stop being so harsh. You better be a little more, keep judging people, and you're going to be judged. Look, she's judging me. She judged me. Judge her. Can I give you some counsel? You won't take it. If I am not coming through to you by the witness of the Holy Ghost, that I am raised up, sent by God to preach this anti-message and to warn every single one of you, whoever you meet, every race, color, creed, politics, high, little, makes no difference. You need to prepare and flee from the wrath to come, which is the wrath of Satan that's going to be poured out, is now being poured out with the end time events and signs upon the earth. There is this stress of nations with perplexity, confusion in the religious world, in the social world, in the economic world, in the racial situation. Who's right? Who's wrong? Huh?
When I was recording this from Shortwave, I had no way to listen to it, and I just kind of left it recording, figuring maybe I'd come back in an hour. And when I came back, it was actually almost an hour and a half. And I thought, well, it's probably started another program on Shortwave, because most shows only last either a half an hour or an hour. Well, this lasted at least an hour and a half, so that probably means it lasted a good 2 hours. But I had shut it off thinking that there was another show program going on by then. So that's why it just went off like that. Sorry to say that this is all that exists. These three parts represent what a few of us out there who can hear shortwave can actually receive. And these are totally unbiased viewpoints from Christian ministers across the United States, as well as you can hear people discussing things like this even from other countries. But it's becoming harder and harder to really speak out in America about subjects that the government doesn't want people to talk about. And very, very soon, I promise all of you listening to this video and watching this video that it's all going to be shut down by our government. The government's going to start restricting people. You can laugh your head off, but I can tell you something. You're the one individual, if you're laughing now, that thinks that the government and the United States is as great a country as it was even 8 years ago before Obama became president, and it's not. This country is becoming more and more socialistic and communistic in its viewpoints about what people can say and what people can't say. And only on shortwave can people still share and express their opinions without the government coming down on them and shutting them off the air. But it's coming. I guarantee you it's coming. Pope Francis himself, any pope that advocates that homosexuality is acceptable, and then that kind of reiterates through all of our high-ranking government officials like former presidents and Obama himself, putting rainbow flags up on the White House lawn and shining lights. That's the demise of human society when we look at people who don't live in a natural way, the way that God intended us to live, that it's the end of civilization. It's the end of humanity, because the next step of this will be, if they allow homosexuality, they're going to allow people who have pets, they love pets. pets so much they love them as much as or more than human beings. And the next thing the Constitution or the U.S. Supreme Court is going to say is that if we can allow homosexuals to marry each other, there is nothing that says we cannot allow beastology or bestiology, and that is that the union is acceptable by the clergy and by the religious community for people to marry their pets. And you can laugh your head off on that too. But in the last 10 or 20 years, nobody ever would have conceived that this country would fall to the level of animals in allowing same-sex couples to marry each other. That is totally immoral to what the Bible talks about, and that's what the Pope is supposed to actually uphold, is that Bible. It isn't him changing it just because of a perception that changes amongst mankind. That Bible was written by God himself. It was not written by human hands. Yeah, human hands might have actually been inspired to write it, but men did not write the Bible. They only wrote what God told them to write in it. And that's the perception of our world that has gone totally out the window. That there is somebody higher than you who is actually looking at this whole thing. And we don't know his time and we don't know his ways, but something is going to happen. And when it does, there's not going to be much of anybody left to laugh their head off. Because either God is going to send judgment in the form of natural disaster, or he's going to send something that's going to wipe out this planet, or at least a third of it anyway, or more than 3/4 of it, because the Bible already describes that. It's called wormwood. It's going to be a meteor. We don't know when it's going to happen, but it's going to wipe out primarily all the water supplies on in this world. And that represents the only means of survival, because without water, the human body doesn't survive. And I don't care what they say about, well, we can distill seawater. Well, guess what? The Bible also says that besides mankind dying, it's going to destroy every single living creature in the ocean. So when they die, there ain't going to be much of any hope of humanity surviving without any water at all. So all of this is again having to do with God's judgment on a sinful society like we're living in, who turns their backs on what God has always said was right or wrong. And if you go to the Bible, folks, and read it, it'll tell you what he says about homosexuality. He considers it an abomination. And the Pope, who is supposed to advocate that Bible, because he represents it on earth as God's messenger, for him to turn his back and say God would approve of it, and then Jimmy Carter and Clinton and all the rest of the former presidents say to American society, Jesus would approve of this, that is laughing in the face of God. And just to give you a hyperbole, the Titanic was the same kind of event. People laughed in the face of God and says, Titanic is so unsinkable, God himself cannot sink this ship. And guess what happened? 1,200 people died because of that arrogance. Now we're talking on a totally different geographical scenario. We're talking about the whole planet is laughing. And God is not going to turn his back and say, no, you can laugh all you want. He's saying judgment is coming. We don't know when that's going to happen, but it could be today, it could be next week, it could be next year. But Obama is the laughable joke. Everybody should be laughing at Obama, because he's proven that he's not a president. He was never qualified to be the president. He was never legitimately proven to be an American citizen to be the president of the United States. And since people have turned their back on that, I think Arnold Schwarzenegger should actually run for president, because he may be an Austrian, but if you can let an Obama become president who was of Kenyan descent, and he was actually a citizen of Kenya, then there ain't no reason for us to back down in saying that any other nationality can run, because we've already abolished what the Constitution reads about that subject, which is you cannot be any kind of a legal representation of this country's highest executive if you don't uphold what the Constitution says, which is you have to be a natural-born citizen. So, again, the Pope And everything else that's happening, Obama, him loving communists, everything else, it's coming, folks, and it's very, very soon. So please, don't turn your back on this. Don't think it's a joke. It's happening right now.